Hello, my name is Kayla Mealy. I lost my student ID card, so I'm going to use my regular ID here. Okay, so an interrogation is questioning done by law enforcement officers to the suspect so they can get answers from the suspect that has to do with the case. An interview is a formal conversation prior to the interrogation. There are several requirements a police officer should consider in preparing for an interview or interrogation. It is important for police officers to know their requirements so the interview or interrogation can be used in a court or a case. Some techniques officers should do during an interview or interrogation is make sure they are in a private room, they have good questions to ask the interviewee, they take brief notes, and make sure that the suspect and the witnesses and victims are all separated in different rooms. There are a few different types of interviews that are used by law enforcement officers. The traditional interview is just asking specific questions to get information out of the interviewee. And the other type of interview is the cognitive interview, and its purpose is to elicit information from the victims and witnesses and make sure they know all the events that happened in the situation. Okay, the goals for an interrogation is for enough information to be gathered so that the investigators can come to a conclusion on the case. There are 5 different styles of interrogations. These are logical, sympathetic, indifferent, face-saving, and egotistical. During an interrogation, the law enforcement officer should always watch for any lying or deception. Officers can tell if a suspect is lying or if there is any deception by interviewees, if there's a change in their voice or if there's any stalling before they answer the question. Officers can also look for any change in physical characteristics or any change in body language. A good example of this is if their interviewee breaks any eye contact with the officer. The polygraph is the most important thing that they commonly use because it's a lie detector test, and it's probably the most valuable technique. And in some cases, the officers will get lucky and the suspect will confess because he or she feels that it is the best thing to do, or the investigators have come to a conclusion on why the crimes were made. Before a law enforcement officer starts the interview, the officers should know how to not break any violations. These violations or laws are, or what we talked about in this chapter, are the Miranda rights. To avoid violating the Miranda rights, the officer doing the interview should read the Miranda rights to the suspect and have the suspect waive his rights and answer the questions while he's waiving his rights. The Miranda rights are to be given to any case, no matter how serious or not serious it is, because they are very important. And if you don't do this, a police officer or whoever's doing the interview can get in a lot of trouble. And they could be halfway done with the interview or even done with their interview and they didn't read the Miranda rights, so it's not valid. The warning should be given when the suspect is both in custody and is about to be interrogated. Some law enforcement agencies require their officer to give a Miranda warning anytime they make an arrest, but the federal Miranda requirement does not make this mandatory. So basically, sometimes when someone is getting pulled over or